My students speak Taishanese, Fujianese, Fukienese, Mandarin, and maybe one or two others, but most often they speak Mandarin together.
Hey teachers, welcome to Teaching Bilinguals, even if you're not one. I'm in Manhattan, Chinatown this week at PS 126, a K-8 school, where English as a new language teacher, Miss Ballantyne Berry, has been harnessing her students' bilingual superpowers by teaching them to create graphic novels. Let's take a peek inside.
I love graphic novels. I love reading them with students, in particular English as language learners. So with my lower grades, my third grade students, I read Luke on the Loose as a second graphic novel that we read together. With my older students, 5th, 6th, 7th graders, I read American Born Chinese with them. It's a little, linguistically, it's a little above their levels because they are newcomers, but because it's a graphic novel, it's really rich in pictures. And one of the characters is the Monkey King, and it's a story that the Chinese students know as part of legend and history. As I was reading the graphic novels, the students really were into them, and that made me just get really excited.
Who doesn't want to be their own superhero in a graphic novel, right?
We first started with notebook writing, and the students had to write a checklist that I had created for them. They'd copied it into their notebooks, and it had all the different things that they needed to write about.
I noticed this part's in English and this part is in Chinese. How did you decide, or how did they decide what to do in what language?
So their likes and families, different family members are things that we've already talked about in part of our units. When a student writes in their home language, it's them trying to express themselves, and to just even at least start with that is very beneficial for them because they at least can get their ideas across even if you can't read it, and then use that as like a springboard to okay, now let's focus on where we need to build their English skills. They have their introduction page, they went into their likes and dislikes. This, for example, went into I like to read, I like to play with my friends, and here reading she used a speech bubble, and here she's not talking, so she used a narrator box, and that was really fun. And then when we get to her writing about her home, again she did I am from China because it was a prompt. And then she was allowed to write in Chinese and then drew about it. And then that's where I'm able to start figuring out a little bit more of what she's writing. So this is an older student. He just likes being silly, and one of his favorite words is banana, but he doesn't say it like banana, and he intentionally says banana. And when we get into I lived in China, he said there have very much good food, but China school have very much homework. I don't like homework. When he was talking and planning, he was speaking a lot of Chinese with the other students. And then when he would write something funny like this and I like this, then he would say things like that in English. Or if he thought it was good, he would show someone and he would say it in English.
But then he decided to actually write. This student decided to write the whole book in English. Why is that?
I think it's just his way of trying to step his game up to the next level.
To recap, during our visit to Miss Ballantyne Berry's class, you heard her mention a few ways she's used students' bilingualism as a resource. In her graphic novels project, she drew on culturally relevant mentor texts. She encouraged students to use English for things she's already taught, and home language to facilitate their expression of deeper ideas. She also opened up space for students to process ideas out loud to themselves and peers in whatever language came naturally. She proves that you can teach bilinguals even if you're not one. Join us next time.